feeling informed. Welcome to Talks That Teach. This is where meaningful conversations don't sit quiet. They challenge us, change us, and stay with us long after the conversations end. I'm your host Naseem Ullah Bhutta, and today we are exploring a powerful truth. The people we choose often shape the paths we pursue. Some people become mirrors. Well, you can say the bringing clarification, confidence, and conviction to our lives. Others become milestones, making important moments of growth, courage, and direction along the journey. Today's conversation is about more than a relationship. It's about people, purpose, and positive influence. It's about belonging, becoming, building a meaningful path forward. Join us today is speaker, writer, leadership developer, Maxwell team member, a founder of 11 Ministries, Kayla Jeffers. Through her work in churches, schools, camps, and leadership spaces, she helps young people discover purpose, build confidence, strengthen faith, and lead with intention. Kayla, welcome to Talks That Teach. We are thrilled to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and that was such a great introduction.
You deserve more than this. Okay, to begin with, Kayla, before we get into the heart of today's conversation, let's start with a quick fun question. You coach middle school volleyball, love tacos, and wear quite, you get a few hats as a speaker, writer, leadership developer, Maxwell team member, and a founder. Out of all these roles, which one has surprised you the most and taught you something you didn't see coming about people, purpose, or relationship?
That's a really great question. I would say let's lead with coaching middle school volleyball. It is such a cool opportunity to disciple the girls that I coach. Sports can teach them so much about themselves and about God when they have a rough practice or a rough game, when something doesn't go the way they planned, when they spend more time sitting on the bench than in the game that they would want to be. They just learn so much about resilience and about growth and strength and humility. And it's just really cool to be a part of that experience for them, to lead them and guide them along that journey. I've really grown to love the girls I coach, and it's so cool to see how they're growing and that I just get to be a part of their lives in that way.
Right. That's such a great insight. It aligns with the theme mirrors and milestones. Right. Purpose rarely arrives at the spotlight. More often, it begins with listening, learning, and one brief step forward. When did you first have that this is what I meant to do moment, and what gave you the courage to keep walking the path?
Yes, such a great question. So I've had many people speak into my life along the way, and I'm so grateful for their direction. But one time in particular, I can remember, I worked a lot of summer camps after college, and that meant that I was traveling the United States and I was helping students and churches have a great experience over the summer to help them get closer to Jesus. And through that, I would work with a team of college students who were working that camp. And a couple summers, I served as a director. And that meant that it was my job to make sure everyone else knew how to do their job. And not in the sense of a micromanagement kind of way, but I was teaching them, equipping them, helping them grow in leaders, helping them grow in understanding ministry. And it was such a cool thing where I just loved mentoring them and helping them recognize their own callings in life. And also, as a part of that, I got to teach adult Bible study. Each church that came to camp, they brought adults with them. And I got to lead them in Bible study each day of the summer. And it was in those moments where I was teaching them about God's word and really showing them how much he loves them and who he is and what he's all about, that I began to realize this is what I was created for. This is exactly the path God had for me, was to help people realize their calling and their purpose, but also to help people know who God is and how much he loves them. So that was definitely a big moment when I realized that.
Wonderful. Now we are going to direct our topic for the today. One idea that really hits home in your message is people, you can say the people closest to us often shape us. The people who you can say surround us often shape us without making a sound. They influence how we think, how we speak, how we see ourselves, and even the path we choose to walk. My question to you, when did it first hit you that our closest relationships can shape who we are becoming?
Yes. So I want to emphasize what you said about how we speak, because this example might help understand that better. So I live in Florida in the United States, but I don't think many people consider Florida the South. And what I mean by that is in the southern part of the United States, specifically the southeast part, there's a specific dialect or way that people speak. It's a distinct accent. And sometimes the longer you're around those people, the more you speak like them. And I find that to be true of any relationship in life. The longer you're around someone, the more you begin to act and speak and live like them. And so there's a famous quote that says, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future," excuse me. And it's so true. If you see where your friends are and where they're headed, that's going to be your future. And so being mindful of who you're around, it really helps you to know, okay, are these the people that are going to help me get to the place where I'm meant to be? It's always important to ask that question.
Yes, please repeat the quote. That's a wonderful quote. Show me your friend. And the
And
next
I'll
one.
show you your future.
Okay,
Yes.
right. That wonderful. And we automatically imitate, especially in speaking when we surround someone. You can see this just like our friends. That's right. It's up to us to choose the friends, but influence we cannot. You can see the restrict. Our circle doesn't just surround us; it speaks into us. Even that. Some relationships lift us, you can say the others slowly drain us, distract us, and pull us off the course before we even notice that. How can someone tell whether a relationship is helping them grow or quietly holding them back?
Great question. I think we can ask ourselves this question in reflection of our relationships. Am I becoming the best version of myself in this friendship or in this relationship? And for me specifically as a Christian, am I becoming the person God wants me to be? Am I becoming someone who is also pointing others to him and showing his love? And so I think you have to sit back for a moment and reflect on that type of question about, am I becoming who I want to be and the best version of myself?
Can we, you can add some practical way other than reflection? Reflection is a great thing to, you can say, realize, you can say the something. Can we just, put some practical exercise to you realize what are we are growing or because someone is holding us back? Are some
Yeah.
clues, maybe there are some clues there, maybe then help us to judge that thing.
Sure. I think it can be in, and again, this might also still be reflecting, but more specifically, what you're looking at, noticing how you talk around someone. Is it positive? Is it uplifting? Or is it negative? Are you talking about other people in a poor way? Are you only gossiping in that friendship? I think it can also be, how do they make you feel? How do you make them feel? Do you feel confident around them? Do you make them feel confident? Or are you making them feel less than they actually are? I think it's important to ask yourself questions like that and notice those things and then begin to go, okay, if the answer to some of these questions is that I am not the best version of myself, or I'm not helping this person be the best version of themselves, do I need to take a step back, or do we need to have a conversation about how this relationship could be better.
Right. Right. It means real friendship doesn't just make you feel better, it helps you to become better. I have figured out from your conversation that real friendship, you can say, moves us to the better version of ourselves.
Yes,
Kayla,
absolutely.
if we are honest, most of us don't exactly welcome correction with open arms. But sometimes the truth we resist is the truth we need the most. How can we receive honest feedback without becoming defensive or shutting down?
It's definitely easier said than done, but I think humility is the key. Recognizing that I don't know it all, and that's okay. And the things that I don't know about myself, I need to know so that I can grow. I think that's something that we commonly see in John Maxwell literature and in all the different courses and groups that I'm a part of with John Maxwell. In order to grow, you have to learn about all the things about yourself, the good things, the areas you're strong in, but also the areas that you're weak in. You have to learn those things, and hearing about that is sometimes challenging. But again, it comes back to just a humble attitude and then letting it sit with you for a little bit and then taking steps necessary to grow and improve. I also think, though, it's important to realize that not everyone gets to speak into your life. I would say you need to have the people that are close to you that know you well. That's the feedback that you need to listen to. Because in this day and age, with the internet and social media and everyone having access to you, there can be people that speak into your life that don't actually know you or don't actually have your best interest in mind. And so you have to be careful who you listen to because that's going to shape the direction you go and the steps that you take. So you have to be humble, but also have to be mindful of who you're listening to.
Right. That's a wonderful point. That we should be, you can say that clear, who is our closest and who is commenting or saying something. That matters a lot. The right voice, the right time can become a milestone in our growth. You are, you can say the rightly said that thing. And sometimes the right words from the right person don't just change a day, they change direction. They become kind of a compass point we return again and again. Why do you think some correction moments stay with us for years and shape the way we lead?
I think it stems from who they are in our lives, meaning how much they have invested time in us, how long they've spent with us, how we can tell that they truly do have our best interests in mind. I can think of several different moments or conversations, some that were really encouraging and uplifting, while others that were really hard to receive. But they came from people who knew me well, who spent time with me, and I knew that they cared about me. And so those types of moments help me to go, okay, this matters. This is something I need to improve in, or this is something I need to pursue. Like, for example, I remember a youth pastor saying to me, well, it was a longer situation than this, but basically what he was telling me is that you're not better than everyone else. You are not too big or too cool to serve. You need to join in with everyone else and serve. And that was an important lesson for me to learn. And it shaped how I move forward in life. And then I remember another conversation that was really encouraging, and it led me towards this ministry and leadership path that I'm on now. It was someone that just spoke into my life and said, hey, you're really good at this. You should continue pursuing this. And that stuck with me. So whether it's, easy words to receive or difficult words to receive, I think it matters about who's saying it to you and what they mean in your life.
Right, right. Our questions are a continuation of our topic, so that it may seem sometimes they are overlapping, but we are, you can see, the weaving thoughts from one to another. And you can see the life moves fast, and before we know it, our attention is scattered sometime. What helps you cut through the noise and stay focused on what truly matters?
So this is something I'm honestly struggling with. It's a daily battle. Because as you know, there is so much out there that can distract us, whether it's our phones and social media, or currently right now, I'm really enjoying watching the World Cup. It's a lot of fun, and so there are all sorts of things that can pull my attention away from what matters most. And I even had days this week where I did not spend my time as wisely as I hoped. So I think it's important for everyone who's listening to know that it's a daily battle. I don't think it's ever something that you get so good at that you never make mistakes. But something that definitely helps me to choose the right things and to manage my time wisely is two questions. One is this task going to matter 5 years from now? And then the second question is this task helping me become who I believe God created and destined me to be? And so when I ask those questions and I seriously answer them, it helps me to, cut out the noise and really focus on what matters most.
I think you are you can say the player of some game.
Say that again.
You are a player.
Uh, yes.
Of what game?
So as far as I love sports, and so I played soccer growing up.
Okay,
I
great.
also played volleyball, which is why I coach it. And then I played several other sports too, but those are the sports that stuck with me the most. Is that the question you're asking?
No, no, no. I was just you can say the feeling, get some vibe that you are a player, and I love you can play football in my college, and my
Okay.
team is for the last 10, 12 years we are the champion in our college, and
Wow.
I got a vibe that you are a player. I got impressed. That's why.
That's great. I love it.
That's very timely the message you have delivered to me. In a noisy world, focus is you can say the discipline, and it will you can say the make us to move what we want to become in our lives. Many of us try to keep all the plates spinning, but when our attention is pulled in too many directions, something usually falls through the cracks. What has that experience taught you about boundaries, attentions, and protecting your purpose?
So if I don't protect my life, or excuse me, my time, no one else will. Like I have to be the one to protect my time, to plan it out well. And that's hard to do sometimes because man, like I said, distractions are always coming, but I have to make sure that I plan out blocks of time to devote to writing. Like, for example, right now I'm actually working on another book for Lifeway Christian Resources, and that content is due next month. And I really have to plan out my days and my weeks well to be able to finish that content. But there are times when a friend will reach out and say, "Hey, we should go do something fun." And I want to be able to enjoy those things, but I also have to keep those to a minimum in this season where I've got a deadline coming up. And so I think it's really about planning out my time well, planning out my calendar well, not just letting every single message or opportunity that comes up pull me away from the things that I need to focus on and what matters most. But I'm also not saying that I don't take time for fun or rest because that's important too. I just really have to plan it out well and not let every single thing that comes my way pull me away from the work that I'm doing. Does that make sense?
But it's quite difficult to follow the calendar all the time. You may
Yes.
manage, but it's quite tough, quite difficult.
Yes. And when I make mistakes, I can tend to beat myself up about it. And then I just have to, get out of that spiral and say, you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. And tomorrow I can do better. And that's typically kind of how I work through those thought patterns is say, you know what? Today I didn't do my best, but that's okay. We're going to try again tomorrow. And it kind of helps me plan out my day better, even if I've had a rough day.
Right. Many people are busy doing good things, but missing what matters the most. How can we tell the difference between meaningful work and simply being too busy?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm honestly going to bring this back to two questions I asked earlier because I think they apply here as well. Is this task going to matter 5 years from now? And then is this task helping me become who I believe God created me to be? And then I'll even add one more. Is this work helping others discover their God given purpose? And am I adding value to others? Because those are some things that I really prioritize in my life. And so, is what I'm doing mattering beyond this moment? And how am I adding value to other people?
Right. That's great. It means busy doesn't always mean that we are doing something meaningful. It means in a
Right.
way. And people thrive when they are seen, known, and valued in different workplaces. Why do you think being truly seen and known matters so much in building strong relationships?
I think it comes from when people truly know you and they don't reject or abandon you, there's deep comfort and security in that. I think all of us are afraid of being rejected, but when someone really accepts us for who we are, there's so much confidence and power that comes from that. And one of my pastors always said, "We love you as you are, but care too much to leave you there." Meaning, people that know us deeply and care about us, they want the best for us. They want us to be the best versions of ourselves. They accept us with all of the flaws that we have, but they also call us to grow. And so I just think when people see us and truly know us, flaws and all, there's just deep sense of security there, but there's also deep opportunity for growth in becoming who we're called to be.
Right, right. Wonderful. You have a great touch of religion, and you are, you can say, that too much inspired, and I think your life is focused on that thing.
Yes.
And you can say very few people are just like you who focused on religion. Many people, you can say, make it just, you can say, everyday life, but they enjoy their own life. But when I got through some of your videos with some lectures, and even the, you can say, the material I have got from you, every line or every paragraph is a some touch of religion, Jesus and God. There is a some message. There is a great touch of, you can say, the religion over there.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right. It means people don't need to be impressed. They need to be understood in a way, and
Yes.
they feel comfortable, and they feel secure, and they may thrive and flourish in their life. Many young people have potential, but they don't always recognize it in themselves. It's quite difficult when I work in a college in my classrooms. Students are unable to recognize their own potentials even then. How do you help someone step into positive influence when they don't feel confident yet?
Yeah. So, and this will stem back to my focus on religion. And from a Christian perspective, it's helping them understand that their value and identity comes from God. It's not what the ever-changing world says about them, because let's be honest, everything that's happening in our world, culture and trends and social media, it's all changing all the time. And so the opinions of others around us are always changing. But with God, his opinion on us never changes. Even if we mess up, make mistakes, his opinion and love for us doesn't change. And when people recognize that their value doesn't change, there's huge confidence in that. And here's the reality. I'm not saying that they can do whatever they want, because that's reckless. It's not that you get to go out and just, say whatever you want without any consequences. No, it's that you recognize your true value and you want others to recognize their value too. And that really comes out whenever you live and speak. And so I would encourage someone to do a deep dive and figure out, okay, where does my true value come from and how can I live that out with confidence?
Okay, Kayla, you face some challenges in your classroom? It's from my teaching perspective. Sometimes I feel nowadays the students, these Gen Zs, are not too much focused. Their focus is very short for very short time. They stay, you can say, wake up till night, and they, you can say, get up late in the morning. They rush to college, and they're still in the classroom. They are not quite active. Maybe at night they become active again, and they don't focus on their studies sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. That is true.
What activities you add in the your classroom to make them more active, alert, and focused?
Mm. So I think it depends on the student because every student is different. And so some of them are motivated by, positive words, encouragement, whereas some of them might be motivated by something fun and engaging in the classroom. So I think it comes from knowing your students and knowing what helps them to engage better. And so in that, I've just learned that sometimes I just need to get to know my students better, figure out what's going on in their lives, see how I can encourage them and support them. And some are more willing to receive that than others, and that can be challenging. But getting to know them on just a little bit more of a personal level, and then from there, figuring out what will inspire them, how can I encourage them, how can I make the subject more engaging to them? Is that helpful?
Yes, why not? Sometimes even they don't bother their attendance. They remain mute after twice, thrice when I you can call their roll number. They become alert. Yes, sir. Then seems me it is quite you can annoying. Why they are behaving in this way? Uh, One of the students I asked this question after the class. He told me that he stayed. You can say the wake up late night. He sleeps just before the beginning of the day, and that's the reason. And yeah, his eyes are quite affected with that sleeplessness. And maybe students are you can say the facing other problems with them. Maybe okay, right? For you can say thank you for you can say that giving me such wonderful and amazing you can say that advice. I will connect you later on in this connection. um, I would like to move forward. And many young people have potential, but they don't have always recognized in themselves. I have, you can shared you this question, and you now train the next generation of the leaders. What leadership lesson did you wish more of young people learned earlier?
Yes. So I do teach seniors, so 12th graders at the school where I am. And I feel like the lesson I want them to learn most is if their plans don't go the way they expect, it doesn't mean they've failed. I know for me, my life looked differently than I thought it would. And that's not a bad thing. God had plans for me that are better than I could have imagined. And I want to remind them that even though it might be challenging when your plans don't go the way you think or expect, it doesn't mean that God doesn't have something good for you. And so I really try to help my students understand throughout the year that they've got these plans and that goals are really good. We want them to have purpose and goals and a vision for their life. But if it doesn't work out that way, it's okay. Learn from the steps you took and from the journey you've already taken, and then move forward in whatever God has planned for you.
Okay, Kayla, you can say I would like to ask one question. What is 11-1 ministries? 11, then 1. Why not triple one?
Yes. So it actually comes from a Bible verse. And so 1 Corinthians 11:1 simply says, imitate me as I imitate Christ. And I just want to live in a way that honors him. And I want to invite other people to do the same. And through that platform, I have resources for students as well as for those who are leading and ministering to students. And then specifically for young women who are just like me, who are in a path of leadership and ministry. I want to be able to help them grow and learn and navigate that path.
Right. One more question. What about the integration of technology in everyday classroom? How much you depend on that? And what type of UK technology you are using in your classroom?
Yeah. So as far as technology goes, I am fully aware that my students are using resources like AI, chatbots, and things like that to do research and to help them with assignments and things like that. And so when we talk about things that they're doing in the classroom, I encourage them to use it wisely. So if they're going to use it for research, that's great. Make sure it is a reliable source that it's giving you. I also tell them, I'm like, hey, don't use it to write something for you. You write it first, and if you need, you're struggling with the right word to use somewhere, or you're struggling with a phrase or something like that, then, AI can help you with that. But don't let it do your work for you because that's taking away your critical thinking skills. So I encourage them to use it, but not to use it in a way that they're not thinking on their own. I also teach anatomy and physiology at this school, and so we actually have a really good computer program that shows like 3D models of the human body, and it's a really great resource for them to learn about anatomy and physiology. And then I also incorporate podcasts and things like that to help my students learn from other perspectives, not just my own.
But most of the students, when they get use of such kind of tools, chat GPT and other tools, AI tools, they rely on most of them, and it's an easy way for their assignments and their research papers and all that. And it's you can say that the students, most of the students, when they you can say the get the end of the deadline, very close to the deadline, they just go for that and make their assignments over there.
Right. Yes.
And
That's a challenge for sure.
their critical thinking goes away in this way.
Yes. Which, if we circle back to what we've talked about earlier,
Mhm.
helping students to manage their time better, helping them realize what are the most important things. How do I prioritize the things that I need to get done? How do I also estimate how long something might take me and maybe overestimating that time a little bit so you're not stressed? I think students nowadays, especially in American culture, are so overcommitted. And then they have limited time for the things that matter most. So it might be for them a question of, okay, what matters most, and how do I need to align my schedule with that?
Right. Right. You often remind us that life is not about the competition, but the contribution. Everyone has a role, and everyone brings something valuable to the table. How can we move from competition, comparing ourselves with others, to collaboration with them?
Yes, I think it goes back to humility again, recognizing that we don't know it all. We're not good at everything, and relying on those people who are strong in the areas where we are weak and inviting them in. I think that if I compare it to the human body, our bodies thrive whenever all of the parts are working together. If my foot is competing with the rest of my body, that's not good because I can't go the direction that I need to go. And so if we're all working together and we're all trying to help each other reach our goals, then it's a beautiful thing. And that helps us to collaborate rather than competing with one another.
Thank you very much. Kayla, any message would you like to, you can say, give the audience around the world listening to you?
Yeah, I think definitely to seek out community that makes you feel valued, makes you feel known. And ultimately, that I believe that value comes from God. And so I would encourage you to explore that as well. But it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I've really enjoyed this conversation. And I hope that 11 Ministries can continue encouraging others as well.
Sure. I will connect, you can say, my students with you, especially the Christian students, girls and boys. One of my students is in Bahrain. He is a pastor, Isaac Anayat. He is the son of an pastor, and he was my student. And a few, you can see, the girls in my class are Christian. I will try to connect with you. You can may help them to move ahead, and that's a wonderful way. I will remain in touch with you. That's a powerful place to land. Today we have been reminded that people around us can become mirror that reveal who we are, and the milestones that guide who we are becoming. Kara, thank you for sharing your wisdom, your work, your heart with us today. And to everyone listening, choose your circle carefully. Walk with people who strengthen, sharpen, and stretch you towards your purpose. Because in the end, the people we choose shape the paths we pursue. To stay connected with Kayla Jeffers and learn more about her work, be sure to follow her on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and visit her website for the resources, events, and encouragement. I will share you all her, you can say, links after this session. Thank you for joining us on Talks That Teach, where we listen, learn, and lead. Until next time, keep growing, keep giving, and keep going. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.